What were you doing to build that foundation before you went for the certification?
That's a great question. I know there's a lot of folks on the phone today that want to know what's involved in the process. And I don't want to give the mistaken impression that we decided to become B Corp certified and flicked the switch and they mailed the certification. There was a lot of foundational work that went into this. Again, when I came in, I was, the first title was Chief Strategy Officer. And the idea was, how are we going to stay relevant? And we looked at what was happening in the industry, and we came to the conclusion, the only thing that was guaranteed not to change in our industry is that our clients would always be human beings. And the only thing we know they would continue to value is relationships. And we also realized that, clients don't have relationships with a company or a bank. They have relationships with other human beings, namely employees. So we asked ourselves the question is how can we set out to try to attract and retain the best possible employees out there, and then kind of set them up and empower them to kind of build these deep relationships and create value for our clients. And the answer we got was, it comes down to culture. And so the question becomes, well, in every small business, people kind of build culture naturally. It's an extension of the business owner. It happens organically. But when you have 187 employees in multiple locations in a financial institution that's been around for 150 years, it's a whole different ball of wax. You have to be really intentional about it. So, part of our learning was, well, it really comes down to this framework of mission, vision, values. Why do you exist? What's the meaningfulness of your work? Where are you going? What does success look like? And how do you agree to act along the way? So part of the foundation for us was running this grassroots process with our employees. We actually engaged representatives from across the bank, and then we did focus groups to kind of craft the answers to these questions. And once we arrived at consensus, we all looked at each other and said, yes, this is it. We turned to kind of rebuilding the bank itself from the foundations to say, okay, if we embrace multiple stakeholders, our clients, our employees, and our communities, how are we going to deliver value creation at the highest levels of excellence? And so we've rebuilt our technology, we've hired people, we've done all kinds of change and transformation in the bank. But as part of that, we were continually trying to embed our mission, vision, values into the bank itself. So for one example is that we thought about our employee, the value to offer our employees and the culture we wanted to build. We thought about all the things that our employees worry about outside of work, right? All the anxieties. And so we said, one, we want to start with, we want to make sure we're paying a living wage as benchmarked against the MIT index by geography. Two, we want to build a package or portfolio of benefits to address all of those potential anxieties. So for example, how do we take care of the medical needs of our families, the mental health needs of our families? What happens if we have a child while we're working? How do we pay for our own college education? How do we, prepare for retirement? And so if we try to do all of that in the first year, it would have been beyond our resources. But we had a plan and we layered those in over time. And as a result, when we turned to the B Lab questionnaire and they asked, do you pay a living wage? We could say with confidence, yes. And when they asked what type of benefit package, we could, proudly say, this is our benefit package. And we know benchmarked against industry, it's a leading package. And we could actually then look beyond it. The next question is, well, what are your participation levels? And we could demonstrate that. So there's a lot of foundational work that happened over those 3 years before we made the decision to pursue the certification.